It's the Piano Piper. And as the title says, a pipe and a story about the ghost trains of Maine. I figured what better pipe to use to tell a story than the author shape. And this is my new Rossi 8320, and this is my first smoke in it. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. Boy, is it a great smoker. I've got a little Lane 1Q in it, sitting out here on the deck, enjoying this, and a cup of coffee. And I want to tell you about my journey that me and a friend went on last week. As most of you know, I do live in Maine. I've lived here all my life except a couple of years that I lived down in Texas. But I'm a born and raised true Mainer. And I had no idea that there was ghost trains in Maine. I'm a train lover. I collect like HO scale and G scale trains, and it piqued my interest, as did it to a friend of mine. So we said, well, let's go find these trains, and that's exactly what we did. From my house on the coast of Maine to the northern Maine woods is probably a 6-hour drive one way. And the last 2.5 hours of the drive is on 72 miles of dirt, rocky, narrow, bumpy, pothole-filled, rutted logging roads that the logging trucks use to haul wood in and out of there. That was an experience. There wasn't even any telephone poles on these roads. No power out there. Very few signs of life at all. We stumbled into a few cars out there, but that was about it. There wasn't even any road signs, and I couldn't even find an address to these trains. All I could get was coordinates. So Google Maps was having a fit trying to find it. And when we got onto these logging roads, we lost cell phone reception. So therefore, I didn't have any GPS either. So the few cars that we did stumble into out there, we did stop them because we assumed they were locals. And we asked if we were going in the right direction to find these abandoned trains. They reassured us that we were. But folks, if you want to get lost or not be found for a while, you need to go to the northern Maine woods. Like I said, I've lived here all my life and I've never seen anything like it. It was just an unbelievable experience. But it was so beautiful. The landscape, the streams, the rivers. We saw 4 moose, a bunch of deer, all kinds of rabbits running around, crossing the roads. It was beautiful. And the silence, the stillness in the air. It was like nothing I've ever experienced before. It was priceless. So worth the trip. If any of you come to Maine, I suggest, if you want an adventure, that's one you got to do. So the trains are up next to Eagle Lake, between Eagle Lake and Chamberlain Lake. Up in the tip of Maine. So the story goes, there used to be, in the early 1900s, around 1902, there was a tramway built. And it would haul pulpwood from Eagle Lake to Chamberlain Lake. And it was like a 3,000-foot cable on steel wheels and just this flat area that the logs could ride on these wheels 3,000 feet through the woods to the other lake. And from there, they would be taken to the Bangor area, Millinocket, East Millinocket, to paper mills and sawmills. Well, when that was no longer workable, or it was obsolete, a man by the name of Edward King LaCroix built, or started building, a railroad out there. He purchased a 100-ton steam locomotive, and it was converted from steam, coal, to oil. It was an oil-burning locomotive, and they did that because of the embers from the coal would create forest fires out there, and you wouldn't want that. Because, I mean, everything around you for miles and miles and miles and miles is the thickest woods I've ever seen. So I can understand why they did that. And he purchased the locomotive from a company in New York. And they built a railway that was 13 miles long, and it went from Eagle Lake to Umbazookas Lake. And that pretty much took over for the old tramway that was in the earlier days of the 1900s that I was just telling you about. Well, King LaCroix got the railway built, but he never made any trips on it because the Great Northern Paper Company purchased the railroad from him in the early, I think it was in June of 1927. And the Great Northern Paper Company made its first trip on the railway, in 1928, because they had to finish building. There was a 1,500-foot trestle that went over one of the lakes, and they had to make sure it was rugged enough for a 100-ton locomotive plus 12 cars loaded with wood. And there's still some remnants of that left in the lake as well that you can see if you can get to it. So the railway operated from 1928 until 1933. And in 33, the Depression was going on, and just everybody was down. The paper company, my understanding, went under. They walked away from everything, and they left everything in the woods. They said that the steam locomotives, or the locomotives, were obsolete and not worth the cost to remove them from the woods, which baffles me. I mean, If I had room, I'd have one right in my front yard and I'd have it operating. I mean, it's fascinating to me. It blows my mind that they left this stuff behind. And all the rail cars are there. They're rotted. The wood is gone, but the axles and the wheels and the air brakes and all that stuff is still there. It's just a very eerie feeling. So locomotive number 1 was built in 1897 in June, and it's a 460 and has a stamp of 4552. Locomotive number 2 was built in December of 1901 at Brooks Locomotive Works, and it was a 280, and that locomotive was stamped 4062, and they were both converted from steam coal to oil. Um, and locomotive number 2, as I said, was purchased from Great Northern Paper in 1928 when they started the railway. And Loco 2, the 280, was the main engine that hauled the pulp cars from 1928 to 1933. They're both 100-ton engines, and if you stay through this video, at the end of it, you're going to see our trip and our footage. It's like 6 minutes long, 6.5 minutes long, and it's well worth watching because it is just so breathtaking. And it's to look, the railway is still there, and to see trees, this big around now, growing between the rails, but you can see it running straight through the woods. It's just very eerie. So once you get through the 70 miles of dirt roads and get there, then you have a mile plus walk in the woods on a path that's like this wide. Ups and downs, there's roots, there's trees falling in the path, but the trees have painted blue marks on them, so you know you're heading in the right direction and don't get lost out there. But it's well worth the trip, guys. It was just fascinating. So anyway, stay with me and watch this next 6.5 minutes or so, because this is going to be our trip. I hope you enjoy. Leave some comments down below and let me know what you guys think. Till next time, guys, take care, be well, and as always, keep the pipe warm.